Good evening, our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful GL family. It's so nice to see everybody tonight. And more especially, we are so excited that we have our beautiful Jenny. Hello, Jenny, and welcome. We are so excited for your trading tonight.
Oh, thank you so much, Melissa. I think you're over exaggerating there, but I am so happy to be here this evening with all of you special, amazing, and blessed people.
Oh, no, we're just grateful and honored that you are actually giving us the amazing training tonight, Jenny. I think everybody's fired up, everybody's excited. I see Mr. Hatting there in the dark there. Are you with us, Chris? Let me
I'm
just
with you.
spotlight
I'm
you.
with you. I'm busy walking around in the shopping center right now. I'm just going to sit back in my car because I've got load shedding where I'm at. Those of you that are not from South Africa, load shedding means the government shuts our power down in grids at 2 hours at a time. And unfortunately, it was my turn tonight. So I had no signal. So the only place you go to is a shopping center that have got generators that power up the cell phone towers. So we do what we have to do. We drive around, we do Zoom some cars. This is our commitment to make it happen. So if I'm on and off, please excuse me. Melissa, thank you for stepping in and just assisting us, under these circumstances. But just very quickly from my side, I'd like to welcome everybody. We've got 85 people on the call, which is really encouraging. Quite a few people on YouTube. A lot of you have seen myself and Melissa on various Zoom calls. But tonight we've got a treat for you. Let me tell you, those of you that don't know Jenny Brandt, I met Jenny about just on a year ago, and one of the most passionate, heartfelt people I've ever met in my life. Let me tell you something. Jenny is the type of person that would give the clothes off her back, her last clothes. And we've spent many, many, many hours on Zoom. And those of you that don't know, Jenny is one of the core team members of GL. And Jenny played a very big role in co-creating Gift of Legacy. And she is a massive, massive asset to Gifted Legacy. So it's an absolute honor to have you on the Zoom with us this evening, Jenny. And yeah, I tell you what, you got this fire and this passion, and you guys are going to hear the passion in Jenny's voice tonight. And she's been around the block, and she understands how gifting communities work, and she's just gonna share with everybody tonight a little bit of a different angle. There's a certain way that is basically recommended on how to have success in gifted legacy. And then there's also other ways. Many of you have heard the saying, there's many ways to skin a cat. It's a weird saying. I don't know where that comes from, but there's many ways to skin a cat. And Jenny's gonna share some stuff that she's been doing, and she's actively building a massive, massive, massive team of people. And what she's going to be sharing tonight, she's going to be sharing from personal experience what she has been doing since we launched Gifted Legacy just on 4.5 months ago. And she is having massive, massive success. And that's why we thought, let's get Jenny on to share some of her strategies, her ideas, and what she's doing, and she can share with everybody. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome to the digital stage Jenny Brandt.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, Melissa. And I must say, Melissa, Chris, a standing ovation to you, Melissa, for the hard work that you put in all the time without ever making excuses. She's just there and does whatever needs to be done. And Chris, one of the faces that we have consistently on our Zooms, our face, our Gift of Legacy together with Candace, really just all the recognition goes to you for what you do as well together with us. And it's an absolute honor to serve in the core team. I tend to take a bit of a back seat and a bit of a quiet seat, not a back seat, but a quiet seat. I'm not the one who's always out there, but I've always got my ears and eyes open. I'm always listening. I'm always processing. But most of all, my active part of me, my most active part is my heart. My heart is always open to perceive and to understand and to receive. Receive in order to give, because that is where my passion lies. My passion lies in not just changing somebody's life by giving them a 50 Rand or 100 Rand once off. My passion lies with inspiring people and motivating people to bring about long-lasting change that is going to change their lives forever. And that is what motivates me when I get up in the mornings. It's not the friends and the family and the people that I know whose lives I can change. Those are already here, and I'm already changing those lives. What makes me go out there with motivation is the people who are not expecting, the people who really deserve, and the people that you just stumble across, who you know I can change your life. Those don't always just fall into our lap, and yes, sometimes it requires a little bit more effort, and what I've found is a little bit more strategy sometimes, and that is what I'd like to share with you tonight. I'd like to share with you a little bit of an alternative strategy that I've been using. So let me just, Chris, can I share screen, hey? There we go. I'll just go through to my presentation, and we're going to take a walk through this. And Chris, I would love to have a chat with you as we go. Melissa, you're also more than welcome to contribute, because this is really, the more views we get on this and the more input we get, the better. Let me just lose one of my layers here. It's nice and warm, and this beanie is also overheating me a little bit. And if I look as though I'm drifting off now and again, guys, I've got the most beautiful smell of ylang ylang that comes from the frangipani flower diffusing in my diffuser here next to me. So please forgive me if it looks as though I'm lying on the beach in the Comores or something. I'm going to try and really stay focused with this beautiful smell around me. Okay, so the question of fueling and powering the board for movement. We don't live in an ideal world. We would like it to be ideal, so we would love everybody to hop on these boards and do exactly what they need to do, but unfortunately we know that that very, very rarely happens. So this is a challenge that I think many people face, and this is what we're going to have a look at this evening. So we all know that your builder position is obviously the position, and that's why it says builder. It is the position that is meant to be building on the board. Traditionally, each builder is inviting two gifters. So we've got builder 1, 2, 3, and 4 that traditionally invite their two gifters to come and join them in this incredible journey. Now, this is always our go-to strategy. Okay, it's very important to remember that. We know that we can work out some alternative strategies here and there, depending on what you're dealing with, but there are reasons that this is really your go-to strategy. So let's have a look at that. Now, I love the train scenario. Let me just move my keys out the way here. The train scenario just makes so much sense for me, guys. It fits onto our board so well. And I know Chris has presented on this before, and I'd like to just reinforce it tonight. And I'm a pictures person. I used to work with kids. I'm an ex-occupational therapist, and so there will be lots of pictures. So first of all, let's have a look at a steam train. Steam train needs fuel, and that is actually the starting point. Now, you would think that your first positions would be the starting point on a board, but it's not. It's actually the second position here, which is your fuel carriage. So the builders on a board provide the fuel by inviting their gifters on the board. The gifters therefore become the power to the board. Why is my clicker not working? Let me just try my mouse quickly. There we go. Okay, so your steam engine provides the drive. Okay, Now, if you look at that combo, the drive and the fuel, those two have to work together. If we only had the fuel cart, we wouldn't be able to get momentum and get drive on the board. If we only had the engine, we wouldn't be able to get drive either, because we need to fuel the engine. So it's very, very important that we actually realize that these two components work together on the board. And in a chat that we had with our coder the other day, he explained something to us when we made the changes in the different levels, and he said that your gifter and builder positions are on the same level with regards to algorithmic functioning. That is our engine room. And this is the most important part where you, or place where you need to do your work, is in the engine room. That is what's going to power our steam train and generate community growth. Okay, so your guide and the legends position fall into the community section of the board, and algorithmically that holds true, that your guide and your legend position are on the same level of control with the algorithms. Okay, so it's also important for us to remember going forward that this applies to all the boards. All the boards will follow the rules that we're going to have a look at this evening. Whether you are an inviter, inviting new invitees onto your bronze board, or whether your invitee is following you onto a perpetual or onto a higher board. So it doesn't matter what kind of following you're looking at. What we're looking at here, with the gifter and builders working together and the guides and legends working together in community, applies to all scenarios of following. So just to put that steam train scenario into another graphic for you, is that if you find yourself on a board in the gifter or in the builder position, then you're in the engine room. What do we do when we're in the engine room? We either provide the fuel or we provide the drive. Okay? And that means that if you are in one of these two positions, the invitee that you invite will land on your board. Okay? Only if there is space on this board. Alright, so there are extenuating circumstances and there are rules that guide that as well. But let's stick to the general ones here. So you're a gifter or you're a builder, your invitee will fall on this current board with you in the engine room of the board. Now that's very important for me when I look at how I can help people to progress in Gift of Legacy or to become members of Gift of Legacy, and I'll explain that to you in a minute. Let's have a look then at whether you're in the guide or the legend position. Now, a lot of confusion has existed and a lot of queries have arisen to say, but why, when you're in the guide and the legend position, do your invitees, if you're in these positions and you invite, why do they actually fall on another board? And the pure simple reason for that is because this is the community section of your board. Okay, if you are here and you use your link and you invite somebody, they will not fall on your board because you are outside of the engine room. You have left the place where we are doing the work for this specific board. So you're inviting in the community section, which means that the people that you invite will be blessed to the community, and they will actually land on the oldest board and go into the cross-pollination system. Now that is actually a wonderful, wonderful fail-safe that Gift of Legacy has. If any of you have participated in other gifting programs, you will know that you can really get stuck, okay? And the reason is because they don't have that cross-pollination in their systems. And that meaning if you're on a slow board, or people that don't know how to invite, the cross-pollination will actually fall on those boards and get them moving. And that for me is a really heartfelt part of our Gift of Legacy program. It's a part that I would never want to lose in our program. Okay, and it's also important to understand that if they fall on another board, you've invited as a guide or a legend and they now go to another board. it will only apply to this board. When you come off this board as a legend and you join a new board and you're either in the gifter or builder position and one of your referees leaves a board, they will actually come and land on your board if you are in the gifter or builder position. Okay, if you're in the guide or legend position, they are going to go into the cross-pollination system. So for me, this is really what makes Gift of Legacy unique, is the fact that we help community. And isn't that what sowing and reaping is all about? Okay, it just fits so perfectly into that beautiful scenario. So by contributing to the community, it will only be on this board, as I said, and it will come back to you at a later board where they will follow you again. Okay, so now in the ideal scenario, we are going to have a look at the GL recommended build strategy first, and then we're going to have a look at how you can tweak it, okay, and how you can make it fit different scenarios. Now, in the recommended build strategy, all the focus is on the builders. All right, the builders are there to provide that fuel, bring the gifters so that the gifters can power the board, just like we've seen. Now, at times, this can have some contraindications. Just like a medication that you take to make you feel better, there could be some contraindications. Okay, number one, it can place stress on inexperienced builders. So you invite somebody who's never done something like this before, and they get into the builder position, and now the pressure is on. They've got to bring two invitees. They've got that fear. They don't know how to overcome their obstacles and their objections, and you're trying to teach them all those things while they're still trying to invite their two. Okay, and that can sometimes be very, very stressful. Think back to when you started. If I think back to when I started, oh my word, it was disastrous. Okay, it also puts the full workload on 4 members in this entire board. And imagine if they are inexperienced. You've got double trouble. Okay, our gifters also sit idle. So your builder invites the 2 gifters who are super excited. Again, think back to when you were invited and you were a gifter. Oh my word. The attraction of what's happening here is just overwhelming. You are amped and souped up to go, and your builder says to you, wait, hold on, put on the brakes. Don't invite your people yet. You might have them ready, but don't invite them yet. You must only invite them when you're a builder. And now what happens? You're on the slow board. Inexperienced builders. And now that board's not moving. So very often your gifters can lose their enthusiasm, and you lose that first excitement when they join Gift of Legacy. Sorry, I thought there was one more. Okay, so those are just some of the issues that I experienced while I was bringing in totally inexperienced members from my community. And that led me to work out an alternative build strategy, which I call a cascade strategy. Okay, it just sounds better than a waterfall. Okay, I can't say to people, use the waterfall strategy. It just sounds fancy when I say, try the cascade strategy on this board. Okay, and I've run this through my team as well with people with slow-moving boards, and a lot of people have applied it and come back with semi-success to success. Okay, so I use this strategy only where necessary. It's not my default strategy. My default strategy is always a builder inviting their 2 gifters. Okay, but what this strategy does do is it helps you spread the load between the gifters and the builders. And that's a very exciting concept, because you share the responsibility of the fuel and the power. You're still working together, but they share that responsibility to power this beautiful board. It also decreases the stress on just having 4 members, okay, inviting. So you're increasing the participation from 4 to 12 members. And that really lightens the load, okay, and reduces the anxiety. Your invitation process now extends over 2 boards. You don't do your full invitation process on the first board. You'll see, and we'll go through it through the different boards. There's less stress, and it gives the people a bit more time, okay. And we utilize the excitement of the new gifters because we get them to invite. So we are immediately taking that first excitement and that energy and getting them to pass that on to the people that they know as soon as possible. So I found it very useful when I'm bringing in inexperienced inviters, and when I've got slow moving boards. And we have slow moving boards purely because sometimes people want to see the results first. We understand that scenario, and also because people are expecting that it moves fast, it doesn't, and then they become disheartened. Okay, and that doesn't mean that we need to judge them and cast them away. We just need to say, hey, we've got a solution for you. Let's try and build in a slightly different way. So on your first board, oops, sorry, I'm speaking ahead of my arrows. My arrows are going ahead of me. So on your first board, what I would do with a slow moving board, we've got the builders, guides and legends in place. I would encourage the first builder to bring in gifter number 1. Now, depending on who you're working with, and this is really where I feel that the giving part and the sowing part of Gift of Legacy comes in. If I'm working with a team that really don't have the funds to come in, I will always sponsor in the first builder, and my deal will be I sponsor in the first builder, and from there I'm going to guide you through the process, and you need to then also get yourselves into gear. So builder number 1 asks gifter number 1 to please bring in their first person. Okay, they're excited and they do so with ease usually. That gives builder 1 1, it gives gifter 1 1 invitee. Gifter 2 is then asked to bring in their first gifter, which gives them a personal, and so we go. Gifter 3 brings in gifter 4, gifter 4 invites gifter 5, 5 invites gifter 6, 6 invites gifter 7, and gifter 7 invites gifter 8. Beautiful. Builder 1 has 1, and all the gifters here have 1 invitee. Now gifter 8 cannot have an invitee because there's no space for gifter 8 to invite. So what I normally do here is I will put a gifter there who I know is ready with their 2 people to join on the next board, or who will be a strong inviter. So I'll always keep that strongest person for last. So let's have a look at what happens now on your second board. Bearing in mind from the split of the first, we now have 2 boards. So on both of the boards, you're going to repeat this process. Okay, your process changes a little bit. All the builders you'll see have got 1 invitee, because those are your gifters that all had 1 that have now moved to builder. So builder 1 is going to invite their second, we're looking at the left side first, okay? Builder 1 is going to invite their second invitee, which gives them both of their invitees. Gifter 1 invites 1 invitee, and this little process is repeated across the whole board. So builder 2 invites their second one, giving them their 2 invitees. Gifter 1 invites 1. Repeated on the other side. Builder 1 invites their second, and gifter 5 invites 1, and then builder 4 invites their second, and gifter 7 invites 1. And look how beautiful that is, because that means by the second board, the builders, and if they were inexperienced or feeling a little bit stressed, they've now been assisted to spread that load over 2 boards, and they have their 2 invitees by board number 2. So now let's have a look at the second board, which is your right side of board number 1. You repeat exactly the same process. Builder 1 invites gifter 1, who invites gifter 2. You repeat that little triangular structure with builder 2. You repeat that with builder 3, who now gets their second invitee, and their gifter invites 1. And then remember, on the first board, gifter number 8, we put somebody strong there because we knew that here they will have no invitees, and they invite 2 invitees on board number 2. You now have your second set of builders who have got their 2 invitees. Now, I've often found that just doing board 1 and 2 is enough. Sometimes I might kick off with board 2 because I have got some on the board already if it's a slow moving board. So I might kick off with board number 2 and not do board number 1 strategy. If you continue from this, so if you want to bring in a few people and get your builders all to legend, which I've done with a group of ladies that used to sit on the side of the road waiting for piece jobs, and I took a whole group of them, and we are seeing the strategy through until all the builders on the initial board become legends. So you can take it further, but you might opt to use only board 1 or only board 2. If we take it further, on the third round of boards, we will now have 4 boards. So the 4 boards are from the second split of the previous 2 boards, okay? And you're going to repeat the process, but it does deviate a bit from the general pattern. It becomes a little bit mixed up here. Each builder and gifter brings one skill where they can. Okay, so let's look through it. We can't always predict from split number or round number 3 onwards. Okay, so on the next 4 boards, your original 4 builders will get to legend. Okay, and that's really great. It's a massive boost for people that lack confidence or that are doubtful. So boards 1 to 3 in this round, out of the 4 builders, 2, number 1 and number 3 there, will have an invitee and 2 will have none. So at this stage, I would personally go and repeat strategy on board number 2. Okay. And if we look at the 4th board, in this set of 4, only one builder is going to have an invitee. Okay, and that is builder 1 sitting up there. And the other 3 will have none. So here, you might want to repeat the strategy that we did on board 1, but I would personally repeat board 2 strategy again. Okay, that will help the builders get as well as the gifters. Okay, from here, you can't really apply the strategy effectively anymore, and that is why I say I use this more for slow moving boards. The traditional build is always comes out tops. It is always your default strategy. Okay, but the cascade strategy is nice for an assisted start. Inexperienced invitees, slow boards, it is flexible. You can even apply, as I've said, only board 1, only board 2. You sort of work it out depending on what you have. Okay, I'm going to summarize the first board for you again, just run through it with you. Really simple, starting off with builder 1. Either builder 1 is already there and you've motivated them to invite somebody, or you're going to sponsor builder 1 with somebody, and your gifters are then going to roll it out just like a waterfall, putting your strongest one last. Okay, very, very simple. And then board number 2, you are going to work in little triangles. Let me use my mouse here. You work in little triangles. Builder bringing 1, gifter 1. 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 Okay, so just in summary, every bronze board where you can actively build is a unique opportunity for you to bring fuel, drive, and momentum. Okay, and where do we bring that? We bring that in the engine room section of the board. Okay, boards will never be the same. So depending on your board that you've landed on, assess each bronze board that you are on independently. Have a look at what you've got, who you've got, the opportunities that you have. And my recommendation is always, don't focus on other people. Don't worry about where you came from or who's following you or where you're going or what people are doing around you. Okay, you yourself have the power to focus on right where you are on your board. Like we always say, water the grass where you are standing, and that is when you are going to get the best results, is when you do the best that you can do right where you are, and that will ensure community success. So we can't always be too focused on lineage. Lineage will happen. Your personals and your invitees will follow you. Okay, don't be disheartened when they don't get placed on your board when you are in the guide and the legend position. Okay, please remember that is contribution to community, and contribution to community is exceptionally important for the longevity of the entire program. So that pretty much sums up the alternative strategy that I wanted to share with you this evening. And as Chris says, I've used it so successfully with really people, low income people in my area, people that have got the tech savvy, they've got the drive, they are doing their own little businesses on the side, they've got incredible minds, they want more, they can do more, but they're just not in that position to get it started. And it is such a blessing to see how I have been able to assist them with this and get them inspired, motivated, and excited. Okay, so Chris, I'm going to ask you and Melissa if you want me to go back anywhere, if you've got anything that you want to share and contribute and chat about around the strategy that I have discussed this evening.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Jenny. Don't you want to unshare your screen?